in the Napa Valley, and this is what most people think of when you say Napa Valley. I taught high school there for 10 years, and just this year I changed my job. And I now work with these kids, the elementary kids. I work with their teachers, I work in their classrooms, and I love these kids. I didn't think I would at first. I was a little nervous about working with these kids, but they are amazing. A few things I've noticed about the differences, every one of these is true, by the way. No lies here. The last one bothers me because in elementary classes, those kids have no problem coming up with questions. What do you notice? They notice everything. And you sometimes have to reel them back in because they're so excited about it. High school kids, not so much. Just get on with it and tell us what we need to know so we don't have to think about this or spend any time worrying about this. Elementary kids are also full of questions. You give them something to play with and immediately they're wondering what they can do with it, how they can change it, how they can make it better, what'll happen if and they're off and running. High school kids, not so much. In fact, if you can even get them to breathe every once in a while so you know they're still with you, it's amazing. I notice there's a lot of excitement at the elementary level, but I also notice there's a lot of inequities that start showing up at that elementary level too, and that worries me. Because I think that's what we see happening in our high schools. I think a lot of the quietness is due to those inequities that start at the elementary level. And I don't know what to do about that. I'm doing a lot of wondering about that. I want to know how we change our normal looking high school classrooms to what goes on in elementary classrooms when kids are learning there. I want to see our high school kids do what our elementary kids do. I believe that high school kids want to learn. I believe that learning also is not just coming out of a book or doing what the teacher tells us. And I think that a lot of our teaching practices stifle that. I know that's a fact because the math Twitter blogosphere has taught me that. They have taught me that we can do amazing lessons. They have taught me that we can do different things in the classroom and that we can get different results from kids. We do have a lot of work to do though. This child poverty slide really hit me. In our realm of the world, child poverty comes from absentee parents. And that one I think hurts the most. These common goals for all students, we need to know where our kids are at and what they need to move on. We also need to know what's going on at home. While some kids do have help, other kids have parents doing their homework or parents who couldn't even begin to help them with their homework. And how do we make that level? I would like to see all our kids excited about learning, and I believe it can happen. I would like to see all our kids believe in themselves, and I believe that can happen. I know that high school kids love to explore. I've seen it in my classrooms. You hand them a tool and you tell them they have the freedom to use it, and they do. It takes time, it takes energy, and it takes a lot of work on our part. I see a lot of this in the elementary classes. You know, you throw some blocks out, they just do something with them and they learn stuff. They love to answer questions. They love to be put on the spot, and they're not afraid. I want to see that same thing in our high schools. I want to see our older kids not be afraid. I want to see them take an object and play with it and learn something about it and dance. In the Napa Valley, this is where we're at, and it breaks my heart. We've got a lot of work to do. Thank you for listening.